Ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on, we thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today we are here with Linda McLean.
Yeah, with some drunk scotch.
Why is that not getting?
Is it not taking me?
I might have to switch the mic out.
Okay, we're locked in. Does that sound better?
Yeah, that sounds better. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess that one you have to. Let me. Yeah, it wasn't pushed all the way in. And you're working with Celebrity Recovery, North Texas.
Celebrate Recovery.
Oh, Celebrate. You know, dyslexia, it really sucks.
Would you like me to introduce myself?
Go ahead. Yeah. I'm done.
My name is Linda, and I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ, and I'm in recovery for anger, resentment, and depression.
Okay.
And I work with a program called Celebrate Recovery, and I am a state representative for Celebrate Recovery. And it's all about life's crazy issues that drag us down. We are here today because we have a program called Welcome Home for the United States military, for the military all around the world, for that fact. But the program is called Welcome Home, and it works with people who have military sexual trauma, PTSD, just anything for military veterans. And it's a strictly part of our Celebrate Recovery program that is absolutely for veterans. Nobody else can get into this one.
You don't do first responders or anything like that. It's just veterans.
Just veterans. This one is for the military only. Now, the regular Celebrate Recovery group does work with, first responders and everybody else, and different life issues. Anxiety, panic, pain, abuse, neglect, grief, you name it. There's a program for everyone.
Now, on this program that you're talking about, is there? It's more or less. Do they have to? How do they reach you?
How do they reach you?
Yeah.
Well, usually most of our groups either are in churches, halfway houses, transitional housing, even homeless shelters. We are accredited to go into prisons all over the United States. And it's pretty much just by word of mouth, or people just when they get so down and so desperate and they have stuff that they need to work on, they seek us out.
Okay.
It's a 12-step program, just like NA, SA, AA, all of the A's. Okay. But ours is strictly Christ-centered. Okay. So it's a 12-step Christ-centered recovery program. To help you learn how to heal from your hurts, habits, and hangups. That's what it's all about.
That's what a lot of people don't get and understand is a lot of the times when you're down and out, there are some people that can overcome that. And I talked to one, he was a cop in Arizona, and he got addicted to fentanyl, and he did it himself. He was able to do it. And he described all this stuff, but it's one of those things. Sometimes you need someone to. I even said it was like, I don't care who it is. I started this podcast to either help out people or just do interviews, but mostly help out people. And sometimes you got to go out. I've had only like a couple occasions someone just contact me. I was like, brother, sometimes you just got to have somebody to lift you up a little bit. and help get to that finish line. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, well, we do have a website you could go to. And for anybody out there that's listening, it's celebraterecovery.com. It's that simple. And it'll tell you all about Celebrate Recovery, how it got started. This program's been around for going on 32 years.
Jeez.
And it's tried and true. Everybody is welcome. Anybody that has a hurt habit or hang up. And really, actually, drugs and alcohol are only a very small percentage of the people that come. Most people deal with life issues, things that go on during the day. Like the military, it's PTSD and the things that they've had to go through and retrain once they retired, like my husband did. Oh, he was basket case when he got out of the military.
When I got out of the military, I had a senior master sergeant like sitting right next to me, bawling because he didn't know what he was going to do after he got out of the military.
Oh,
He was high ranking. I was like, I only did like 4 years, and I was like,
yeah. What branch?
Air Force.
Air Force?
I was out of Dice Air Force Base. I was in Abilene. Dice Air Force Base.
Yes, I had all of my children at Air Force bases.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have the best doctors. Trust me. I mean, you don't think that, but compared to running the gamut, they are.
Yeah. I know. I know. I had a guy. He had to label which leg he's supposed to get removed because he got shot. He's like, dude, seriously, you might want to label that. He's like, no. Okay, yeah, you're right. He had to label his leg.
You know, that's the reason why doctors these days take a marker and mark on which knee they're going to replace and which whatever they're going to do. You know?
Yeah, it is so. I get a lot of stories from a couple of vets that end up just it's the medical treatment that they really need to fix. And I was like, just recently, people have been sending me this article about the Canadian Veteran Affairs, and they're basically, they don't even care. They're like, well, we got programs to help you commit suicide. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Are you?
But yeah, it's and there's some people that are in the VA that they shouldn't be there because they get into the basic fact of we don't want to help people. We're tired of this stuff, and they just need to leave. I mean, I worked corrections, and I knew the time and I needed to leave corrections because the attitude I was getting towards other people, and a lot of people don't understand.
They don't care.
Yeah,
they've just given up, and of course, the climate of the world right now doesn't make anything any better either.
No, man. It gets to the point where a lot of people need to just take a step back. That's all you have to do, and that's even with recovery. You take a step back and look at everything that's going on around you.
Yeah.
You see if you need help, get it fixed, or you have to get it in a certain extent to where you can get whatever you need to get.
You know, David, there's not one person on the face of this planet that doesn't need recovery.
Yeah.
If you have ever lost a loved one, if somebody has ever hurt you, if you've ever hurt somebody else and are dealing with the guilt, I mean, everybody needs recovery. Everybody has a hurt or a habit or a hang up that they just can't get past. They'll never admit it because people wear a mask.
Yeah. And we're always, most of the time I mean, men in general, I try to talk about men health, but women health too, not to discriminate, but all health really. A lot of the times, and I've talked to certain women, I've talked to certain men, they're taught from an early age to suck it up.
I mean, that's the way of the world.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to get any better. But like me, I had to talk to my daughter it was last night, and she didn't want to go to therapy. I was like, listen, what's the actual general problem? You got to dissect it. You go in, dissect it, find out what the actual problem is. And she was like, well, mom's yelling at me a lot and I don't like it. I was like, all right, listen, you're going to get yelled at for one. But if you need a person to sidetrack both issues, we'll just have like a family meeting at least once a week. But you're still going to go through therapy for at least a month. And we're just going to transition to see if we can get it to where we can get away from you going to therapy. Will that work for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people
This
don't
is
want to talk
not-
confidence.
This is not therapy. Celebrate Recovery. We're not licensed counselors or therapists or psychiatrists or anything that way. We are just broken people who have come a long way, worked our steps, and we got to the root of what was causing us the issues that we have. And then once we found out what those issues were, we either made amends to the people that we've hurt or we've offered forgiveness for those that have hurt us. And until you actually dig that deep inside of yourself, you won't ever know.
Yeah, some people just need an ear. The guy that co-hosts with me now, and I'll speak about it. He had some personal issues that he wanted to go through, and he needed someone to talk to, and we barely talked. But we had like a 5-hour conversation after I was like, hey, you want to, I have someone to come. I need someone to come on the podcast. You want to do it? She's like, yeah, I love doing that. We'll talk nerd stuff and we'll go off. After the episode ended, we ended up talking for 3 more hours and he got a lot of stuff off of it. Now we're best friends.
And
I mean-
sometimes that's the way it happens.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why in Celebrate Recovery, we have sponsors, people to walk with us through the journey of healing. And then we have accountability partners, people to keep us in line when we start to stray and go back to that same old issue that we had.
Yeah. Sometimes you need a mother hand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But-
I'll there's times I need that a lot.
Well, then we need to see you at group.
I'm in Wichita Falls. I'll come down every once in a while.
There. Let me
But-
tell you.
But I'm the type of person that I learned a long time ago. If I have a problem, I'll go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it scares them that I'm actually that open. It's like, you have no idea the reason why I am so open. I have a lot of trauma. I got more issues than National Geographic. I know this. So, and I'll have people like, why are you even talking like that? I was like, dude, you need to talk like that. It's better for your health. I had a comedian. I do a little bit of comedy, and I had a comedian. He was just this. I was like, dude, that's the same way I do it. You got to open up to people.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's good for the show, and sometimes you just need to take a step back and find someone that will just listen. And strangers are actually, a lot of people talk all their personal life because they don't expect that person to even come around anymore. So
That's why it's easier to talk to strangers than it is to somebody you know.
yeah,
You know, like bartenders. You remember the old thing about bartenders?
yes.
You can go sit there for hours and talk to a bartender. They can care less, but they'll listen to you.
Yes, ma'am. I still think that bartenders need to go in and get at least a certificate for psychology, or they should, after so many years they get like a 2-year degree, an associate's degree. There we go.
You know, I used to be a bartender and I used to own a club. And
Oh, really?
That was in my former lifetime. And, you know, I've come a long way since those times, but that's just the way people want someone to talk to. And I would always listen to them because that's kind of what I was taught when I was younger to do. And so that's what I did. And I listened to people and I had fun, but those days are long gone. That alcohol could have been an issue for me. Drugs could have been an issue for me. But my issues were totally different. My kids drove me into Celebrate.
Was it? Oh man, I got to deal with this without the alcohol.
Yeah, Yeah, no, I mean that stuff was long gone. But when my kids started becoming adults, I mean they were just running amok, and I couldn't deal with it. My husband retired from the Marine Corps after 22 years, and he couldn't deal with society because he was so used to being in the military, and the civilian world was totally unstructured. And when he had anger issues.
Yeah.
And when his MOS was artillery. So when he
Okay.
got angry, he'd go blow something up.
I'm with that one. I do that too.
You
It's called gunpowder therapy.
Yes, it is. So, you understand then why. And when he left the military and the kids started running amok, and I just couldn't deal with it. And when I came into this recovery program, I was suicidal. And I was one day away from acting out on it. And I was sitting at the computer because I had shut down completely. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't clean. I didn't cook. I didn't do anything. I was just a body sitting in front of a computer. And I knew God, but I didn't have a real relationship with him. And one day I was sitting there at the day before I was planning on acting out. I was sitting at my laptop and I felt this hand reach down on my right shoulder and grab a hold of it real tight and said very loudly, "I'm not done with you yet." Scared the living daylights out of me. I'd never had God speak to me or say anything to me in my life, but it was right then and there that I decided that I needed to do something. And so the next day I was at a Celebrate Recovery, and that's how it got started. And I just learned lots of tools to be able to deal with the emotions, to be able to just not get angry when people were upset and throwing a walleye fit. All I can do is listen. What is it going to do for me to get into an argument with them?
Yeah, I had to learn that too, to where it's the point where I'll end up talking to some people. I'll listen to them, and they'll go up. And it just why is it you don't feel like it bothers you? I was like, listen, I'm here to listen to you,
Exactly.
and you have to understand. I'm not gonna let. It's too much energy to hate. It's too much energy to let somebody live rent free in your head. And I was like, I'm not dealing with that anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do to yourself. You have to train yourself just to come up and not let people live rent free in your own head.
There you go.
It took me almost about 2 years. Well, no, I would say close to 3 with one person, only because it just hit me that hard. And I just like, man, I'm gonna have to go do something else. I have dozens of hobbies now that I shouldn't have. But
You don't replace an issue with another issue, David. Come on.
It's fun though. I mean, I started running. That was one thing. I started doing a lot more exercise. Yeah. I started running, and then I ended up listening to a podcast about how they got more or less not fixed, but they recovered a little bit easier just by shooting a bow. I was like, I like shooting projectiles, so let's go try that. But I enjoy it. And then it's really sad is I end up, it's through these hobbies, you start finding out other people that have the same hobby, and they get together and we just have fun. I don't suggest going bow hunting, but I like bow hunting too. The only problem is what hunting with a bow, you got your big ups and big downs. There's no in between. I was like, someone asked me, was like, how many times do you think when you bow hunt that you want to quit? Every time I go out. Every time I just.
It takes a lot of strength to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't have that much strength anymore like I used to.
Well, no, the you can fix the bow to where you're doing less on the draw and still get the projectile out. The problem is like the time I had last week where everything was perfect. We had the stand at the right direction. We were like judging on the wind. We had plenty of feed out, and it was like the week before we set up the feed.
Yeah.
Set up
Just
all
a
the
week
feed
before.
week before, and when you go out occasionally. Here was the problem. After about 2 hours, we gave up, and we were just like, man, there's nothing out here. This should have been like dozens of stuff out here. As we were leaving, 7 coyotes come out of the bush. I was like, that's the reason why there's no deer. And it just got ridiculous. I was like, I enjoy this. You have to tell yourself you enjoy it.
Yeah, it's kind of like fishing. You sit out
Yes.
there for hours on end and you don't catch anything, but still, it's the peace and quiet, the tranquility. Nobody's bugging you, nobody's tugging at you.
Oh yeah, I put my
And-
stuff on airplane mode and I just zoom out on the whole majesty of the land at that point in time. And there's a lot of places that you I mostly hunt in North Texas. There's a lot of beautiful things in North Texas, but I went down to San Antonio for the total archery challenge.
Yeah.
And it was at the caverns down there.
Where?
Uh, some nature cavern down in San Antonio.
Oh, in San Antonio.
Yeah. Well,
Start me lying.
yeah. But we went out there. I think it might be on my, one of my feeds, but just we had like fog come down. It was just so majestic. It really was. Me and the guy that I was with.
Digressing, don't you?
Huh?
You know we're digressing, don't you?
Yeah, it happens. Well, we're at the 20-minute mark. I give everybody at least 20 minutes. I had to stop now.
Oh, I could have shared my whole testimony.
I
with you
know,
in 20
right?
minutes. Come on. And
But-
it's a good one. It would knock your socks off.
I've actually, it's one of those things is go ahead and tell your testament. I'll get it done. It's for me, I love hearing those stories. As like the cop that I had on the show, just give you a quick, the whole reason why he got addicted to fentanyl and all the pills was he was trying to stop a mother from putting her 14-year-old child into prostitution.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And the mother ended up getting back into her vehicle and running him over. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I talked to a lot of cops. I love the cop stories. I mean, yes, you probably won't be able to listen to them because of the vulgarity of some of this stuff. As we already proved that you stopped me from my vulgarity.
And I always will. I always will. So
I don't care. I'll stop. I'm a country boy. When a lady tells me, it's like, you better stop that. Okay. But go ahead and tell your testimony.
No, I'm not going to tell my testimony. No, you got to wait.
Okay. But anyways, that's it for this segment. I will talk to we're gonna get a couple more guests on here.
Well, let me get in a ad here for Celebrate Recovery. Just so you folks out there know, and you know, because I sure would like to see you at one of them anytime. There are Celebrate Recovery is in churches. It's in over 300 places in Texas alone. It's in 37 countries around the world. You can find the Celebrate Recovery group on just every night of the week, basically, because they all meet on different nights. So if you're messed up, what we usually say, if you're jacked up one night, you know, and you need it again the next night, they'll find another group and go to it. We call ourselves Forever Family because, and here's what I tell everybody all the time, once you find healing, Satan's not going to miss a lick trying to mess with you. You got a target painted on your back, and he's going to do everything in his power to make you slip up.
This
So, but you have to understand that God's always with you. So Anyway, the recovery program's great. Like I said, it's been around going on 32 years. It's tried and true. And there's, here's one of the coolest things that I ever talked about with this program was, Celebrate Recoveries for 18 and over. And there's all the ages to come to this. But you know what? If you're a parent and you're messed up and you have kids, what does that say about the kids?
Yeah.
It's going to dominate. We call it generational curses most of the time. And when you're messed up, your kids are messed up. And the cool thing about this program is that we have a program for teenagers who are, I mean, my gosh, what do you think they're learning in school? The gender thing and all this other stuff going on, pardon my French. Bleep that out, would you? And,
Got it.
just the issues that they struggle with, drugs, alcohol, cutting, I mean, you name it, being used at home. So those are kids from ages 13 through 17, the teens. And then the really cool thing is we have a program in Celebrate Recovery called Celebration Place, and it's for the little kids, like 5 through 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and because they're watching all this, some of them are young, but they're taking all of this in. And if mom and dad are doing it, they're going to think it's okay for them to do it when they grow up too. And if they're space cadets when the adults are space cadets, the kids are going to think, well, I can just do what I want to too, or I can get angry, or I can scream, I can yell, I can slap, I can hit. But we don't want that. We want to catch them while they're young.
Yeah.
So that's part of this program. And like I said, it's all over the world. Over 7 million people have gone through the 12 steps in this program. And in fact, my husband and I had the privilege of going to Spain and starting a Celebrate Recovery group in Alicante over there.
Nice.
Yes, and I didn't want to go. I argued with God about it for about a year and I lost. So.
That's really sad that a woman lost on that argument.
Yeah.
That's a rare rarity.
But, it's just an amazing program. And I encourage every one of your listeners and everybody out there. Like I said, it's not just for drugs and alcohol. My hurts are anger, resentment, and depression. My husband's are control, anger, and PTSD. So no matter what it is, if you are struggling with something right now, please go to celebraterecovery.com and look on there. Type in your zip code under find a group and see if you can find one close to you and go to it. And if you don't like that one, it doesn't feel comfortable to you, move to the next one. It's like gaining weight. Move to the next size.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll put the description of that, the link to that thing in the description so everybody can check that out.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much for
No
having me
problem.
on
That's
here, and I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, we could go longer.
I know,
but I gotta get
radio days.
start a podcast.
I could, I guess.
Yeah. I'll show you some stuff after this.
Okay.
How easy it is. But thank you all. We got some more guests coming in. Check out the link. CelebrateRecovery.com.
.com. There you go. Bye.
There we go. All right. That's right there. No, you can go ahead and hold it. Yeah, go ahead and hold it. And just remember right about that. There we go. Welcome, Angry Feather again. We got Jacob. Go ahead and tell everything. See, I just messed that up.
Jeremiah Hurley.
Jeremiah. I told you I didn't even remember your name.
That's all right, man. It's not real memorable. Yeah, it is what it is.
And go ahead and tell your story and what you're doing.
So I'm here with the Irreverent Warriors. We are a group out of we're a nationwide group. I represent the Fort Worth chapter of it. We bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to improve mental health and prevent veteran suicide.
Okay, and how do you do that? You were saying that you do rocking.
Yeah, so we we'll gather everybody together and we'll do a usually between 9 and 10 mile hike, actually around the cities. We're in pretty much every major city in the U.S. But yeah, we do these hikes all over, and the one here in Fort Worth, I think last year we had about 280 veterans that came out and did it with us.
Yeah, you showed me the photo. That was
Yeah, it's
freaking-
huge. It's huge.
that was big.
We all dress up in our little short shorts and throw on our packs and take off.
That I mean, they do that in around Pensacola because the pararescue.
Yep.
The wives of all the active duty, they just get in the line and everything, watch the pararescue just run.
Yeah, we have a blast. I mean, the thing about our hike is it's not all about the physical. It's about just getting guys and girls together.
Yeah, and that's one thing a lot of people don't understand. It's not like full on just military or anything. It's just everybody. I try to get everybody to understand that just because we're saying this is how military vets get around and get together doesn't mean you can't do it either.
Right.
And it does just. I mean, we learned this past 2 years of how social animals we actually are,
Right.
and it helps. You get it. Plus, it gets you exercise, gets you dopamine.
Well, you know, we
going.
have myself included. We have so many guys that are combat vets. We are, you know, we have deployed all over the world, whatever. But our suicide rate isn't any lower than someone who never deployed.
Yeah.
All right. So that right there tells you that it's not necessarily what you did or where you went, it's what you're missing.
Yeah.
And most guys, when they get out, guys and girls, when they get out of the military, what they're missing is that group.
The camaraderie.
Yeah. Camaraderie.
There we go. Thank you.
They're missing their brothers and sisters that, you know, they had such tight bonds with. Even if they didn't like them, they still had tight bonds with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we try to recreate on some scale. You know.
Yeah, because going from like one job to another, going from active duty to an actual regular job. I mean, it's an eye opener of how much like.
Oh, it's night and day.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really is. It is night and day. Only because it's like, man, hey, you'll just ask somebody, it's like, hey, can you help me out with this? It's like, man, I got a family, I gotta do this, I gotta do that.
Yeah.
But when you're in the military, it's like, we'll get so and so to help you out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like so and so. I don't care.
I don't care.
That's
Go get
that's
it.
what you got. That you said you needed a hand.
Right.
Don't argue about whose hand is attached to it.
Yeah, we're giving you a hand. So no, I actually retired from the Marines and moved from South Carolina out to Texas. I did a hike 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, did my first hike. And now fast forward 2 years and I'm running the Fort Worth chapter. So I mean,
That's actually pretty amazing how you can get from point A to point B. And
it's well, it's kind of my life.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a whole lot of my life that I look back and go, well, that was a whirlwind. So
yeah. I was like, do you watch Rick and Morty?
You're the third person this week to ask me that. I don't.
Okay. there is I have it on my TikTok. It's just my face and the actual episode or the voice of the whole scene. It's literally, and me and Johnny, we keep on, it's like, dude, it's them just screaming out, just, I can't believe that actually worked. We shouldn't have survived that. How did we get out of this situation? I don't know. But yeah,
Pretty much everywhere I've ever been, that's been my take on it.
yeah.
Like,
I've had situations.
you know, people ask me all the time why I don't dye the white hair in my beard, and I'm like, well, that's because I can name a Marine for every single one that I've got it for. So
Yeah. Like how I had to deal with this guy. It was really, really bad. And this
name all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, back to our organization, we are a 501c3 charity, and most of just about everything that we do is off of donations. Everything's funded by donations, and I'd say about 95% of it is from local organizations that support us.
How do you go out with getting volunteers for those? There's a lot of people that would just want to volunteer their time and
Volunteers for
like helping out, giving out water and stuff like that.
So the hike itself, it is 100% veterans. You have to be a veteran to actually participate in the hike. But if somebody wants to donate their time that wasn't in the military, then all they have to do is get in touch with us and sign up. With everything we do has an Eventbrite. They can go on Eventbrite and register as a volunteer. And, anything from handing out water to actually helping block traffic, we do have a fairly heavy support staff. We usually, for Fort Worth, with the size of the hike I think this year we had 31 volunteers.
Okay.
So yeah, the hike itself is just for us, but anybody can help.
Yeah.
Sorry, anybody over the age of 18. We do have, the definition of irreverent for the irreverent warriors is the inability to take serious shit seriously.
Oh, okay. I
So
see.
you really don't want to subject certain kids to.
I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. I see. I was like, why
Yeah,
is that?
yeah.
How's that relevant
Yeah.
to that situation?
Yeah, so-
Okay. Okay, I got you.
We try to keep it respectful, but we're also
Oh
all
no,
veterans.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I already have to edit the first half of this podcast because, yeah,
it happens.
yeah. You just forget your whole world
Yep.
sometimes.
Yep. I do.
But now, when you actually do this organization and you set everything up, now you're just North Texas, right?
Right.
Well-
I represent Dallas Fort Worth.
Okay. And
So-
you literally said that you had like for all around the world.
Oh
setting
yeah,
this up.
yeah. This year we branched out to Normandy, London, Puerto Rico, Guam.
Now, do you help
Um,
out vets from other countries with this, or is it just
That I can't really speak on that one yet because I know that we've had the hikes in that area, but I'm not real educated on that one yet.
oh, okay?
So I can't really speak to those yet.
Okay.
But I know in the Texas district we have I think 10 hikes through the year.
Okay.
That go from Oklahoma. It's Oklahoma, Texas, and Mississippi or Louisiana.
Okay.
So, but I think this year we have 90 hikes, 85 or 90 hikes across the U.S. and overseas. So,
Okay. So, now these hikes, do you have if you're actually going on the hike, do you actually have carry your ruck to do the
No.
hike? Okay.
no, it's come as you are.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's not all about the physical aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, we have guys in wheelchairs that do it.
Okay.
Everything that we do, all of our routes, we try to make accessible to every veteran possible.
Okay. Okay.
No, it's a very slow pace. We use the word hike very
Loosely.
loosely. It's really more of a stroll.
Okay.
No, this thing was started with 22 pounds for 22 kilometers for the 22 suicides a day.
Yeah.
It's not quite that anymore. It's gone from that because that's very physical.
Yeah.
And we've gone from that to more of we might do 9-10 miles, but we have a stop every mile and a half. Every mile to 2 miles, we have a stop.
Yeah, because the one in Wichita Falls, what they usually do is we go around town. It's more or less like a bar crawl.
It
with
is.
packs.
It's we don't advertise it as a bar crawl.
But it ends up that way.
We do have establishments that we stop at that serve alcohol. or adult beverages.
Yeah.
But we also have, other places we stop sometimes.
We'll just leave it at that one.
Yeah, we're leaving it.
Yeah.
But no, it's just it's one of those things where the guys want to get back together and do the things they used to do that they no longer are able to do. So
Yeah. And like I keep on saying, and me and my other hosts keep on, the whole reason why we got together and started talking is because we just miss those people that just go up and was like, hey, dude, I got to talk to you about something. And we can do it during a walk, or we can do it through the podcast, or we can just, just have a conversation.
yeah. Well,
And-
there's also a certain level of humor, darker
I don't know what you're talking about.
humor. Yeah, I get it.
I don't
that-
understand.
If you say certain things you say, if you say it at your job, you're now talking to HR.
Yeah.
But you say it around another veteran, they're like, dude, that was fucked up. But
There's not a book
Yeah.
coming out by Eric Tansey called Pid Latin, a serious, funny cop story that will be out probably around the end of November. Just plugging for some reason. And we already seen that video today about one of the stories that was out there that's on my TikTok that you got to check it out. And it's not dark at all.
oh, that was the taser. Yeah.
Taser.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got a well aimed shot.
That was
It's pretty much the epitome of a well aimed shot.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things that he's putting these stories out. We can put out stories too about our time, and we'll say some messed up stuff. And if someone I don't want to call them normal, I think they're the crazy ones and we're the normal people, because it's just like we're dealing with the stuff and this is how we deal with it, and we're doing it perfectly fine with that. And the crazy people just look at us strangely, like
Calling us the normal ones is a stretch.
I don't know, bro. I
mean,
don't know. I mean,
I could introduce you to some people that I hang out with on a daily basis that you'd be like, no, that's not normal. It's you must have been in the Marines.
I can see.
I mean, you are coming out from the Air Force side, so it's a little different.
I have to tell people that the fact of that and the fact of I was also a correctional officer at this. I've had people just, they thought they were tough, and I started talking about some of the stuff that I had to do as a correctional officer. It's like, because I've gotten it was a needle dart, probably about we'll just say a foot long, sharpened up, tossed through me. If I wasn't wearing a pendant of St. Michael's, yeah, it would have been a different story.
That sucks.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that it's not a different breed type deal.
No.
That's the reason why I call them normal people, because
No,
sometimes it's a stretch. I'll grab it at that. Most of the people I've talked to, it's like, man, you are just not normal. It's like, yeah,
define normal.
yeah. But it's just our time and how we deal with this stuff and how we get with other people.
A lot of us are asked to deal with some really crazy stuff that if you're not in the right mindset for it, like it's
oh yeah, you'll get,
even if you're in the right mindset for it.
And you get people that's like, I was not prepared for that story, sir. Could you not talk to me anymore?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But I guess that's about it. I got to get another guest out here. And go ahead and go out to, what's the website? We'll put it in the description too.
So we have irreverentwarriors.com, or you can look on Facebook and Instagram. Our personal is IW dash or IW space DFW for Dallas Fort Worth. Yeah, we have a hike coming up in May. The May 5th and 6th will be the weekend. We're actually showing the new hike back documentary, which actually shows what we are, who we do, who we are, what we do.
Okay.
And we're renting out a very old and like very historical and very famous theater right in the middle of Fort Worth, and we're going to be showing it the Friday night before. So
nice.
any veterans that want to come in, we're doing what we call a silky sequins and silkies,
Okay.
where I'll be wearing a tuxedo vest or tuxedo jacket and my silky shorts. So
You're just gonna go with straight black and just match it up. Okay.
Yeah,
I can see that.
you got to keep it classy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not tails, so you
Yeah,
don't.
not at
okay.
all. But no, we're working to make every bit of it 100% free. So
Okay.
that you don't actually, a lot of places you'll pay for a ticket to get in, but we're trying to raise enough money to where we can actually make the entire weekend free to where all you do is show up.
Oh, okay, that's nice. But go out, check out his stuff, and we'll catch the next guy. I think it was Texas Ranger.
Yep.
That's getting out here. Well, yeah, we have a Texas Ranger, not the actual Texas Rangers, for the baseball team. So he can't pull you over or arrest you.
No, not at all. That's different. Everybody, that's the first thought is Texas Ranger is an actual police officer as opposed to.
Yeah, like Frank
Okay.
Hames.
Oh yeah.
Have you
absolutely.
Have you ever been to the museum down in Waco?
No, I have not.
Dude, it's
I've not been down there. My wife's from that area, but I've never been to the museum down there.
they got three things you can go check out at Waco. They got the Dr. Pepper Museum, and they got the Texas Rangers Museum, and they have Dave Koresh.
What was the last one?
David Koresh.
The branch to me. So my wife is from West Texas.
Okay.
The town, the comma.
Okay.
They call it the comma now, right? Because everybody says West Texas, they think West Texas, but she's from West, where the explosion was. Yeah, the comma. They call it the comma now. She went to school west. She's actually from Torres, which is a little bit closer to wherever Koresh's compound was.
Yeah, dude, I had a guy message me after because I eventually got around to it to do a podcast on him, and the guy said, it was like, man, I live in Waco, and you have no idea. After that whole thing, you could pick up ammo, boxes of it, and just shells and everything. I was like, dear God, really? It's just one of those things that it happened. And you just don't realize how bad it actually was.
Yeah. I mean, how long has it been now? 30 years? 20 years?
93. Because Ruby Ridge was 92, and the next year it was David Koresh in Waco.
Yeah, and then the Oklahoma City was was it right around that?
94.
94?
Thinking about that time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Because the Oklahoma City bomber used David Koresh and Ruby Ridge to fuel his hate stuff.
Okay.
So yeah. God. Yeah, the topics I go weird.
Oh, I know. I just remember watching all that on TV, seeing all the differences. Now it's being older, being there and understanding, seeing how people, there are people that actually think that.
Dude, funny story. I know. I haven't even gotten in the position you played for the Texas Rangers, but funny story is I got my job back up at Howmet Aerospace where I worked on jet engine blades.
Okay.
And me and the HR guy that was rehiring me.
Yep.
He's like, I was talking about the David Koresh thing and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, we had an employee that was over in the January 6th and I was having ready to go build a bond that was working at the place I was working at. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I had read, as in the last, 5-6 years, that there was another offshoot of the Branch Davidian, and like Arkansas, they were trying to buy the property or something that he still had. If I read it, remember the internet's 100% true.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Right? There was
I
a
had to go-
group, yeah.
because it was okay. The whole story, and I'll try to do it. The whole story is like 3 or 4 offshoots of it, and it's David Koresh didn't even start it. He got it from another group of people that started it, and then he basically took over,
Okay.
and that's how the whole spiel ended up. And they still have like offshoots and everything.
Yeah, because I've read about it. They were trying to start it up again and bring them back here from what it was. The group wasn't here, but I'm sure they're still, even in that area, and even in Waco now. I'm not sure if people are claiming it or whatnot, but
Yeah, I just every time I hear cult stuff, I'm just like cult. I mean, even if like what it is nowadays, you're either on the high left or you're high right. Now all I hear from both sides, I'm like, this sounds like a cult. I have to be part of a cult now.
just it's almost as if you have free thinkers and non-free thinkers, right?
Yeah.
People can I know right from wrong. I can do, and I can agree to disagree, as opposed to my way is the right way and you're wrong. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's basically a compromise and everything. But we gotten way off topic, way too fast on this. Your Texas Rangers, what was your position in Texas?
Outfield.
Outfield?
Right or left? And I always tell people whatever's closest to the dugout.
Okay.
So
you never played center either?
a little bit center field.
So
I
you
was
just-
built for
just-
comfort, not speed. So
Yeah. So how far did you get with that? Just you were telling me it was like 2 years?
do what?
2 years on the working for as a outfielder for the Rangers?
I was here from 02 to 06 and got traded to Milwaukee. There at 07, 08 in Toronto, 2009 in Japan, 2010 Washington, and I retired.
How's the Japan one?
You ever see the movie Mr. Baseball?
Yeah. Basically that.
Exactly like it is.
Okay.
That's exactly how it is.
Because I had a friend of mine. He worked with basically celebrities, took them around Japan and everything because he spoke the language. He looked American, but he was pretty much Japanese.
Yeah.
Type deal. And so he had an incident with the Tokyo Giants with Stan Lee. The Tokyo Giants wanted to meet Stan Lee.
Yeah.
The manager ended up swapping their hotel rooms. So he got the plush room and Stan Lee was in the bottom barrel room. And it took every effort from what Bocce said to not kill this guy because, I mean, the Tokyo Giants, I mean, any Japan, I mean, Stan Lee is up here.
Yeah.
I mean, you any comic book fan or anything, if you say Stan Lee is in trouble, you'll have a group with really fast. And that group was already there. They were about to, and it came out that the manager ended up like crapping on him.
Never heard of something doing that way, but they don't, it's kind of like their home run record. They don't want a foreigner to break the home run record. So a Japanese guy, I think, broke it this year. The single season home run record that Sadahara O set.
Okay.
So I think they had a Japanese guy this year finally was the one who broke it. They let him tie it, but they wouldn't let him break it. They would not pitch to the guys.
That's really strange in the different cultures once you get around to it. That's one thing I love. I love hearing about different cultures and everything, and how they end up with how they deal with our sport or we deal with their sport.
It's baseball. They do some soccer, and you see rugby because there's a lot of transient as far as people coming in from all from England, New Zealand, Australia there, and that's really you don't see any other sports, so they really focus on. It's really sumo and baseball there. Well, and that's the thing. Which is an interesting sport to go watch as well.
No, they have archery.
Huh?
They have archery. And so
that's what they build it off of. If you come to the U.S., you've got your major sports. They have their major sports are basically sumo and baseball.
Okay. I got you.
Everything else seems to be second tier.
So, did you when you're playing with other countries or other teams? How's that process going from one team to the next?
Is as far as just baseball, just it's different over there. It's almost run like the military, how it's run. They want Americans, they have cones. You want to run cone, what do? We run to the cone and we touch and go back. No, they want you to run all the way around the cone and make sure they don't cut line, they don't cut anything, no corners cut at all, and they are there sun up to sundown. American guys over there, we're there and we're done by noon out playing golf, and they go all day long.
Okay, so it's a career.
Yes.
A legitimate career, 8 hours or 16 hours.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
it's a full on.
Okay. Sometimes you just learn from other people a little bit better way to do
But
stuff.
sometimes just, that's how they're wired to be that way.
No, okay. Now, like right now, Aaron Judge is a free agent. With that actually happening and everything, when you're transferring teams, because there's a lot of players that transfer teams that they just don't mess with a new team. How do you go out and meld a little bit better with the teams that you work with?
It's tough, especially that you're a free agent and you sign a deal, and then the guys that depends on how much he signs for, what if they pay him, I don't know, some exorbitant amount of money, what other money they're going to spend it on, right? If you need pitching, right? So what do you do? Well, we just gave him all this money. How are we going to help out the rest of the ball club type of thing? So, some guys think that way. Some are just get what you can and go. And so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens this winter with with free agency and everything else. So but you see the guys all the time. So somebody on the team knows about whoever they're usually bringing in, so they have some sort of relationship. They know what kind of person they are, type of clubhouse guy they are, and they go from there. So it just really depends. It's each guy's different.
I've always got wanted to know the spending habit of owners and everything, because I think that's how fantasy football or fantasy baseball derivative form, because you guys spend a certain amount of points to get certain players at times.
That's when they had that luxury tax. And it used to be where if you went over the luxury tax, the money that you paid for luxury tax went to the lowest of the least amount spent teams. So back to a point where the Yankees were spending $60 million over the luxury tax. Yeah. So whatever that money went to Montreal. But the problem was, I think the owners were pocketing the money. They weren't spending it on free agents to kind of create more of a level playing field. That was the whole idea of we'll let you spend it, but that money's going to go to other teams so then they can spend it. That's why the luxury tax was created, to do that. And I don't know if they still do it, but it's, they want to raise the salary cap certain each year. Hockey, I don't think they can go over. You've got so much you can spend per team, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's the difference. Like with the NFL, they can spend as much money as they possibly want, but other teams, in my opinion, I think it would actually works out for like having that type of cap, because
it creates parity.
Yeah, it does. And you can't really just spend as much as you want to get that one player that you don't want to get.
Yeah, there are ways guys they can. I'm not sure if they defer the contract, if that doesn't count against the cap. So if you sign for $500 million, you defer $200 million to the end of your. I don't know if that how it's set up, how it's structured because if it'll hamper them in 10 years or whatever it is. I'm not sure how they have it all set up. It's above my pay grade.
Oh, okay. That's one of the things you didn't get into the owner's box.
Yes.
So what do you do now?
I do. I work for a marketing company around here. I also do a podcast myself. It's called the Big Head Pod. It's on dubtalks.com. Get on there and talk about baseball. And really going to transition over into other things. I had a guy come on. There's a movie coming out called MVP.
Okay.
Merging Vets and Players. It was Nate Boyer's the actor in the movie. Nate was a former Seattle Seahawk and also a Green Beret. So that's just Stallone's producing the movie, and it'll be out Veterans Day on I'm not sure one of the streaming show networks that they have. I'm not sure which one it is. And it's basically it was created in order to help military and athletes for coming out that didn't have an identity.
Okay.
Right, they're lost. 22 kills been a big thing for a while, right? With PTSD and athletes, same thing, coming out. That's all they've known. So, and that's what this is. This was created around. There's a group here that Denver Morris is a part of, and athletes get together and they just it's a fellowship, right, to help the guys, because it's right. They don't know anything. Guys coming out of the military, that's all they've known, right? So what do I do? And this was kind of created for that. And this movie's based on Denver's story and some other guys in the military of what it's like. So if you guys can check it out, just
it's MVP. MVP. Okay, I'll put that in the description.
Mike Victor Papa. There you go. So it's coming out next. I think they're having a private showing Tuesday here, and then it comes out nationwide on Friday on Veterans Day. So
okay, yeah, I had a guy that worked logistics. Basically, logistics is big field, but he was working in the mailroom. He was retiring as a master sergeant. And as soon as he retired, I was getting out. did my 4 years, so I was getting out, and he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was like, oh, dude, it'd be all right. You can figure something out. Then he just started bawling. I was like, at that time, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And now, as I'm older and I'm talking to other people that are actually been doing 20 years, and they lost their self.
Yeah.
They lost a group of people that they don't know if they're going to be able to get back in with. And I think I really want to watch that movie now.
Get on there and listen to Denver's story. I had him on the show a couple weeks ago, and he talks about his, how this all came about and what happened. I mean, a little bit. He said that he was in a house, I forget what they're called, like a halfway house type thing. And he said Nate Boyer walks in there and was taking pictures, and Denver told him, he's like, you just need to get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. I don't care. No, I'm here with ESPN. He goes, I don't care. Get out of here. I don't want to get out of here. He tells this story about, he kept telling me, he goes, it's, we're here doing it. He goes, I don't care. Just get out of here. And then he didn't really, didn't know what he was doing, realized later on who it was. And they ran into Nate. They were out working out a facility in Southern California. I guess Nate brought this idea to Sylvester Stallone, who's producing the movie, and they talked about it, and here we are with the movie coming out. So I mean, it's big. They're trying to create these groups in all the cities where there's professional sports teams, because right, you never know, even if you're not an athlete, but dealing with any kind of stress disorder they're dealing with, to be able just to talk, and and that's what it is, being able to put people in the right place to help them out, because it's. It seems like the stories I hear from when military, they get out, they're forgotten. That's it. DOD got what they needed from them, and they moved on.
Yeah, that's one thing that Chris is trying to get with the Black Rifle Coffee guy for BRCC Fund, is they're trying to get with a lot of organizations that help out with that stuff.
I put them in touch with those guys to help, to create, because you think about it, everybody knows somebody.
Yeah.
Right. To help out. And that's what it's about, is just trying the awareness of knowing, guys that have been through it. No, they can look at somebody and go, that guy needs help, but maybe not right now, but they do, and that's what they're not licensed for, psychology or anything else, but a licensed psychologist probably hasn't been in there and seen the stuff that they see to be able to say, I've seen that. I know what you're dealing with. Right. And I had that talk with Denver. He goes, I can tell now. I can see guys that are struggling and know if they're ready for it yet or they're not. So, and that's the thing. At least if they do, they can see it, and that person's not ready, they'll keep an eye on them, right? So it's just of knowing, hey, when you're ready, right, to do it, and that's the biggest thing. It's raising awareness about it, because it's the mental health side of it it's huge, and I'm sure it's scary as anything, especially if that's all they've known.
Yeah, that's why I keep on telling people when they ask me, it's like, why did you create this? Why did you start? And it's like, sometimes some people need a shoulder to lift them up just for 5 minutes to get to that spot where they can actually help themselves.
Yeah, and that's all it is, right? Because you never know. You just of what somebody's going through on each day, right?
Yeah, everybody has that. You could have one day you're working perfectly fine. The next day, you just going from bad, 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 bad,
Mhm.
bad, bad. And you don't know how to deal with it. And a lot of people that do actually commit suicide, and the reference I go with is, have you ever seen a suicide bomb? And a lot of people just look at me strangely after I say that. But when a suicide bomb goes out, and it's the same way with the actual suicide person,
Mhm.
it touches everybody in that vicinity. It could be shrapnel, it could be a death, and the death that you caused off that suicide bomb goes off, and it goes off to the family. It goes off the shrapnel. He's not able to walk really well, and maybe he was a farmer and now he can't tend his fields. You have so much potential of just being there at times and looking for the next day than you do just, you know what, I'm just gonna end it today. I'm tired. I don't want to deal with it. And sometimes you're just gonna go, pick your shit up. Let's go.
And that's how I kind of got tied in with the military side. Jenny Finch was in town. We got to talking. She goes, I have a softball game coming up in Sulphur, and they're bringing some Wounded Warrior amputee softball guys. So I met with those guys and started, traveling around with them and helping them out and seeing all amputees, whether they're, bilateral, losing knee. There's two of them, bilaterals. The first bilateral police officer is in Nassau County, Long Island. The second one is here in Fort Worth. Police officers. Doing that, of how this was created for that, but hearing the stories. These guys are 22, 23, losing a leg. It's something I like to talk about. Some don't. My buddy of mine I had him on. He talked about it. He lost his foot just above the ankle, and he could talk about it. He goes, yeah, we were. He said that next thing I know, I look and I was more stunned. And then one of the guys in my unit came by and he goes, here's my toes and this and that. And there's some guys that just can't talk about it. Right.
Yeah,
so it just depends. But you're right though. What it does is it touches everybody, and like the ramifications, not even the family back here. Right. Because I was talking to my buddy, his dad was saying, he goes, yeah, we get the phone call that that Matt had been hurt over there, and so what a parent's thinking, right? So it's just because it's just the soldier that's hurt doesn't mean it doesn't affect somebody back over here, right? So that just continues to, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people don't understand that.
I don't think anybody wants to have that kind of mindset.
Yeah.
If it's not their world, then they don't have to deal with it. And I've had to talk to. And I hate to use this reference at times as a political scale, because I had a person who just like, I don't like that guy as a political person. I was like, okay, why? If you ask questions, it's like, hey, why do you? Well, we got it down. I got it down to the point where it's like, well, it doesn't affect me. I was like, okay, what you just said is wrong because XYZ. Because I know history. I'm a history buff. I love history. Because there's the ramifications of what we have done in the past. It's coming to biting us in the ass now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And they live in their own little world and they don't want to go out of that world. And the same thing goes out with other people trying to help other people. Sometimes the best way you can help a person is give them a high five or waving at them and give them a smile. You could have just prevented like an onslaught of pain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. You hear the stories about the guys that come back from Vietnam. Nobody wanted them around, right? And it's some guys, it wasn't their choice, right? This is what I was told I need to do. That's it.
Yeah,
right? They're blaming them for it. And I'm sure guys, still the same way now coming back. Well, what are you doing? And it's got to be tough. It's just a matter of.
That's another thing that surprised the holy hell out of me was the fact of I'm starting to hear people talk like back in the time frame after Vietnam War ended. They're starting to like, oh, you're a baby killer. You're this. I'm like, where are you getting your information?
Google.
Yeah. Oh, it was
the internet told me it was that, so it's true.
Yeah, it was a clickbait. It was this article, and the clickbait just said that, and then I was like, "Did you read the article?" No. I just read it. I was like, "Really?"
That's the world we live in, right? They see the 10 seconds on TV, but they're missing the other 2.5 hours of the movie. Let's not base it off of that's what we talk about. The competent, right, people that free thinkers understanding. Let me process this first before I just rush to judgment because somebody told me through somebody else that somebody else said that this is truth. So, okay.
That's why a lot of people are pushing towards podcasts nowadays for information. I've had people like message me because I'm open. I don't have to. If someone messages me on there, I tell everybody, hey, message me. I'll come out and talk to you. And I've had people come up and ask me about something that happened in current events and my thoughts. I'm like, all right, let me look into it. I was like, no. What's your thoughts right now? I was like, no, you're gonna have to let me process this stuff and do a little bit of research. Give me the information you got, and I'll see what I can dissect from that. A lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to have that 5 seconds, and they want to go about their business.
Yeah,
and you can't do that with people.
No, you can't. You're right. And that's the thing. That's just it has to be that way. I know that's what it is because it says that, right? And that's you can't even agree. The old adage: don't ever get into an argument with an idiot. They'll just drag you down to their level and beat you with experience.
I've used that term a lot.
It's the world we live in.
Yeah. Well, I had you on for 20-25 minutes, so we can go ahead and head on out and check with other people. And thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
And, let's switch over information and everything. I'll have you on my podcast, or I'll be on your podcast. I don't care. But I great for having you on, sir.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Again, we're at Vetfest dinner tonight on Sunday, and we got Kurt, the person that sets this all up and everything. And how's it going, buddy?
Hey, David. It's hard to believe it's the second year already. We work really hard throughout the year. We think we have all the time in the world, and next thing you know, we're on the last day of the second annual Window World Vetfest Dfw, and being here at the dinner tonight at the Big Apple Cafe, we're expecting a big crowd.
Yeah, we said it this morning when me, you, and Patrick went out to go eat. You were like, man, we already done the 2 days. Yeah. We're on the last leg of it.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, but yesterday the Trinity River Distillery, the owner Tom had made a comment that he seems to think we had about 300 in attendance throughout the day yesterday. So
nice.
We're hoping that we have a good attendance tonight at the dinner and auction.
Yeah, and we're here at the Big Apple. Next year, I don't even know where we're going to set it up next year, but this year, I enjoy this. It's fun. I got to meet some interesting people, make some good connections. I think I made a couple of people super friends because they already. I was like Brian from that that Relief. I can't remember the name of that group. But he was texting me all last night because we're trying to figure out how to monetize on Rumble.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we had a handful of vendors last night, and the Vetfest, the main day on Saturday, is not about our organization, Veterans of Operation Iraqi Enduring Freedom. It's about all veterans and all organizations to help put the word out for them and help them continue doing whatever they do. I know the fundraiser that we do every year now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, is for our new mobile kitchen program. We need to raise some money for it. So I'm going to ask you and your fans out there to pony up and scrape the crust off the wallets and go to the website at voief.org and donate and help us out. And if you're in town, then next year you need to come to Saturday and then come to the dinner. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on.
Yeah, that's one thing I just love about this is all the help that you actually give out with this organization. It's the whole reason why I started coming down here. And you got somewhat of a pretty face, somewhat.
Well, a lot of this couldn't be possible without our sponsors. Window World, of course, they're a title sponsor. We had Best Buy. Best Buy provided volunteers, and I tell you what, volunteers are a critical part of the mission to do something like this. Geico Flower Mound, the local office there, she's been supporting us for 2 years now and will continue. Big Apple Cafe and NYPD Pizza and Deli. So we got some big names going, and hope to continue. And if you guys have a sponsor or have a company that wants to be a part of this and attach themselves to us, then reach out to David or reach out to me, Kurt Schwab, through the website.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. We're going to get some other guests on here, and this is only going to be the audio portion. I should have said that in the beginning of it, but all right.
You got my levels good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to turn. It's strange on these, and we're here at Vetfest. We had another guest, Bob, marketing firm. What's your last name?
Bob Dubiansky.
Bob Dubi. Yeah.
You can say Dubinsky. Just kind of depends what side of the family you're on.
Yeah. That kind of family.
It's a big family.
Is it the?
No. No, we're just a big family. We came in Jamestown a long time ago. Oh, gotta hold the mic up. So
It's like right here. I got a sound engineer that helped me out on where to put all the stuff and get everything ready for, especially for these. And it was like, you have to do it like, put your hand right there.
Yeah.
Not yours. I mean, put your hand right there. I mean, yours is different because the mic part's right there.
Yeah.
This one's different from everybody else's.
Okay.
So that was actually the more expensive one.
So can we start over so I don't sound like I don't know how to use a microphone?
No, you're fucked. You're totally fucked.
I'm totally screwed.
But no, we did a couple of good shots. I mean, I ended up doing like 2 different. I did it on my phone. Do you still need those shots, or do you got plenty of shots?
I got plenty. I came out to shoot the event yesterday just as kind of a pro bono. A lot of times when we get involved in a project, whether it be web work or social media or something like that, we'll come out and shoot just as part of the process. I don't charge extra for that, and I'm real friendly with the raw, meaning I will put my files up for other people in attendance who are part of it and stuff like that. And you were gracious enough to help us out with the stabilizer stick.
Yeah.
I was trying to get some sports shots of the dive team coming in, and we were able to get some really cool stuff. Stuff I just can't find in my stock resources and things like that.
Yeah, good B-rolls. That's kind of hard to do on a lot of stuff because I had a plan on a little short with like explosions and everything like that. It was supposed to be. I do more or less like comedy stuff because the thing I was gonna come up was the most expensive thing for this whole skit was gonna be a mock-up of the Necronomicon S Mortis.
Very cool. Very cool.
And it was there's this guy. He's a comedian. I have a couple of comedian friends down in Wichita Falls, and he was gonna hand the book. He was like, "Hey, I've started reading this book and everything," and it was just gonna be one of those things for like Halloween. I couldn't get everybody. That's one bad thing about the area I'm at. It's getting everybody together at a certain time frame.
Yeah. It can be tough, especially when the only incentive is to be part of it. You know what I mean? It's tough. You want to get everybody involved and everything. And sometimes it's tough. It's like herding cats. You
Even if you offer money, it's still hurting cats.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Is it's more about. I don't think it's the money issue. I think it's more about like. Sometimes I remember once coming out of college, I had a short film I was doing, and I had one of the guys, he just insisted on being the lead role, but he was perfect for the second.
Yeah.
And so, I told him, okay, first day of production, we'll shoot everything twice, but I'm going to put you in the second role probably because that's where I see you at. And so we go into the day 2, and he's like, I'm not doing this anymore if I'm not getting the lead. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man, you're the second. And so he's like, well, it just goes home. You know what I mean? It just, so we had to scratch the whole project to start over. I ended up doing an infomercial or something really boring instead,
Cheech ended up making his money off being a second.
Yeah.
Even in Tin Cup, he was great as a second.
Oh, well, I don't think there's any shortage of guys out there who are good wingmen and never short for a ladies' company. if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, there's something to being a wingman or being a good part of something bigger than yourself. Oftentimes, you know, you can find something unique to contribute in your own way and really carve out your own niche, so to speak. and I think that's kind of what separates people, even in business. Like I do a lot of business. You know, entrepreneurs can be tough because they're in business because they want to do things their own way, right? So they're not always the best team player, so to speak, or the best employee, so to speak. You know what I mean? But you know, the ones that are successful are staying in their own lane when they hire other folks to work with, and they trust the teams, the processes, and the decisions that they make. You know what I mean? And that same can be said for talent, right? You know what I mean? Like what you brought up with Cheech, you know?
Yeah, that's a weird thing you bring that up because I was
Who
trying
would
to
be your favorite number two?
Fuck. I would have a hangover type. I would be like the lead guy that's in the beginning, and then everybody runs amok trying to find me.
I gotta
be
be
me.
a Joe Pesci guy. Like he was a strong number two to De Niro. You know, that was a strong number two there.
He was really good in The Irishman.
Oh, you ain't kidding, man. That was a really good film.
Dude.
You know, a lot of people complained about how slow it was, but I love the nuance. I love the nuance. Like I still say to my friends, "Hey, you paint houses," you know.
Yeah, I had to watch it twice. It was really slow. It was really slow for a person like me. It was slow. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah.
But most of those mafia movies are slow.
Well, I feel like character development is something that so often that we kind of skip over these days, and you know, the Big Hot D, for example, the House of Dragons, right? Like,
I couldn't get into that. I swear,
people think it's so slow, and then by the end of it, you're just like
you're
can't wait to
in.
figure out what happens. You know,
I was like, right now, I'm another movie or show right now is Prefab. It's with that chick for that little. She was a little girl when she played Hit Girl off of Kick-Ass.
Okay.
And she's playing this role, and this show, what it is basically she's good at playing VR games.
Yeah. Okay.
And she
Virtual
thought
reality.
she was playing a simulation game with her brother's gear, but she was propelled into a robot body into the future.
Okay.
And it took me a minute.
This is a new series that just came out,
it's on,
isn't it? Yeah.
Amazon.
Okay, yeah, I was checking that out.
It is really good.
Yeah. It's a lot. There's so much good stuff out there right now. It's almost hard to keep up or consume. You know what I mean?
It is.
I'm so far behind on the whole the Rings of Power thing. I got to catch up on that.
I have to shut up now. I have no life, so it doesn't take me much to catch up on anything.
Yeah,
it's a good bad thing not having a girlfriend or anything, and only have to deal with yourself. You can just like dive into stuff.
Yeah, my work keeps me pretty busy. We do a lot of events like this. We're at DFW Vetfest DFW 2022. Magic Digital was lucky enough to be a sponsor of that. So if you guys need anything for your website or anything like that, I'm going to do a shameless plug here. I hope you don't mind.
I don't care. Just give me the detail. Message me the details. I'll put it all up. Bud.
Oh yeah. So we'll have to do a story sometime. We have such a unique story here, and Texas is such a big deal to us. Most of our clients are Texas based nowadays, but that's not how it started. And so as we were able to make some breakthroughs in technology, we were able to say, hey, we want to bring this home to Texas and work with Texas folks and Texas businesses. And so getting an opportunity to work with Kurt and the DFW Vet Fest, it's just been an honor. We were out all weekend shooting footage, trying to get their social media on track and kind of work with their hashtags and stuff like that. And so we did some Facebook Lives at the event last night. That was a lot of fun. The guests were amazing. I mean, Mr. T.
I flipped the fuck out when I first saw him.
Yeah.
I was like, is that Tyrone?
Yeah.
That's not Tyrone, is it?
Oh, his Facebook Live was great with us. He was great to get on, and of course Kirkpatrick, class act, man. That guy's been in the business for 40 plus years. You know, he did a lot of bodyguarding for some of my heroes. I got Jimmy here on my tie. So I had to ask him, you know, what was it like being a bodyguard for Jimi Hendrix, and just telling me some stories about the Hells Angels and stuff like that. And so, you know, he's got that book out. I think it's called the Hollywood Villain for 30 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy. But before that, he was a fall guy, like a stunt guy.
Yeah.
And so, and then before that, he was a bodyguard. So it's like, you know, just to have this crazy life out there and get the chance to talk to the guy was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. He did a great job coming out too. He promoted a couple of his films and what he's doing out here and stuff. And I got to get the two of you guys plugged in too, because he's got that whole uncommon dialogue.
Yeah.
Were you able to check that out at all, or do you know anything about that? Because I have not looked into it yet.
What are you talking about? The Uncommon Dialogue?
That's his film company, and that's the one that.
Yeah. I got his. Because I came in last year, so I ended up talking with him last year. And we ended up. That's the thing with me talking to people. Half the time we don't. I'll forget, and the other person will forget about plugging stuff and everything. Like, I'm bad at management. I'm really bad at management. I had Eric Tansey on, and I'll plug the holy hell out of him because he's a good guy. He's a podcaster out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
And he was he worked in the police department. I'll send you a link of his episode. You'll die laughing.
Yeah.
Because he'll even say, he's like, I was a shitty cop.
Yeah.
But I ended up talking to him last year. I probably, the time frame this year, I wanted to get like different people and everything.
Yeah.
But I'll probably get him on a little bit later on. But yeah, I just love like stories. Me and him, we went to, I guess it was kind of like lunch today.
Very cool.
Me and him and Kurt, we're just talking politics and all kind of bullshit.
Just some good old boys out chopping it up, huh?
That's how you get good communication with people.
Yeah.
And I'll get you. It might be a while. I'm trying to figure out a good schedule with people because I got to get a couple more people.
Yeah, not a big
That's
deal,
what-
man.
that's-
We're always out doing our thing. I got a Tuesday group that does a professional networker group every Tuesday. We do it in the Mid-Cities area right there at the North Richland Hills Olive Garden. We get about 65 business owners in there a week. So you can always come out if you own your own business, plug it, come in. We give you 30 seconds to tell everybody else about what you got going on. And everybody just takes their turn, and we do this every week. It never fails. People are getting there early to get seats. It's sponsored by the Northeast Tarrant County Chamber of Commerce, but you don't have to be a member. I have another group that meets the second Thursday of every month. It's called Mid-Market Professionals. We're out at Cheddar's Alliance. So if that's something that you want to get involved in, we're just trying to get people plugged in and make it about doing business with other Texas-based companies. You know what I mean? And really just keep it home.
I'll have to schedule something with that too because I'm in Wichita Falls. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I've come down here to do stuff down here or visit somebody, I've always gotten like a plethora of people that I can contact. That's why I keep on having to come down.
You got to check out KBEC. We did a mobile app for those guys. Now that's real Texas country is what they call it out that way. And so I think that's something that would be particular to you guys. They have a really cool segment on there where it's like kind of a swap meet feel. You know what I mean? It's real community vibe. And I can imagine something like that being a big hit out there in Wichita. Been through there a couple times.
I'll talk to my friend. She's a promoter, so she could probably set something up like that. That's the thing. I started getting in like it was like a weird meet. You know, I don't know what it is. It's one of those feelings I get. I'll start like flipping it because I'll just like add people to my Facebook page just so I can get like people to look at my stuff and hopefully I get a hit. But I'll end up like scrolling through there. It's like, oh, who's that? Or someone liked my page is like, hey, you should come out and do this. I'm like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
And I'll start talking to them and meeting up with them. And I was like, we have like a really good bond, and we end up like hanging out. I'm a friendly, oriented person, so I can get almost anybody to talk about it.
Never met a stranger.
No.
And for certain guys, it just comes natural, and that's the thing is I like to connect with what I call other connectors. You know what I mean? I always considered myself to be a producer. I don't do a lot of board opping these days or production management. Most of my stuff's post-production, but I do a lot of client management expectations more these days than anything else. And it's fun. When you work with somebody and you see their business go from, 2 trucks to 44 trucks over the course of 7 years, and you're involved in that, there's a lot of fun to that.
It's the IKEA effect.
Yeah, well, just making a community of the an impact on the community really is what it's all about for us at Magic Digital. So,
you know about the IKEA effect, right?
Kind of. I've heard
what it is, and you can use this to help. It's like, it's the IKEA effect.
The IKEA effect. Okay.
Be proper and everything. What it is a person doing 80% of the work, but the people around them are only doing 20%, and they feel they contribute to that project in such a way that they feel that it's more or less they're giving more of themselves to that project.
Yeah, well, things take on a different meaning when you own it. You know what I mean? I've seen some really cool projects take place in the community when you get people that step up and they own it and they say, hey, it's up to us to make that happen.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of power to that. You know what I mean? There's no shortage of people deflecting that type of energy as well.
Yeah.
So.
And what one of the business people that I like to listen to a lot, Evan Hafer, Black Rifle Coffee. I mean, I just him talking about it. It's like, man, it's just a worry because I've started this business as a small business. Now it's a big business, and I got all these people I got to worry about now.
Yeah.
And I'm dedicated to that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. That's one of the things I always try to do with big people early on is have those type of conversations, finding out what they want, what they're looking for, how they want to grow. Not everybody wants big business problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's ways to keep that small and manageable and grow more organically. But a lot of people do want those big business problems. They have a lot of ambition, and being able to, open 6 to 12 offices inside of a 5-year time frame is important to them. You know what I mean? And so, Black Rifle's a really unique story. I'm a real big fan of theirs.
Yeah.
We've been paying attention from the get-go. Again, we root for almost anybody in Texas. You know what I mean? So when we have anybody, whether it be the local distilleries or coffee makers, whatever it is, we want to be a part of that. We want to support that. It's one of the reasons I'm real excited about what Kurt's got going on down here with Vetfest Dfw. Seems like he's got a lot of the right people involved for a lot of the right reasons.
Yeah. Well, that could be about end of that. I mean, we'll probably end up talking about an hour or so. So we got to do some connecting, and actually is part of our job. But thank you, Bob, for coming in. I'll talk to you later, man.
Hey, not a problem. Thanks so much, David.
No problem. Welcome, everybody. We're still here at Vetfest Dinner. We got Joe with Big Apple. Big Apple Cafe. Sorry, I just blank out as soon as this see cute stuff. Go ahead and tell us how you got, because you're from New York, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been came down here in 1980, 81. I graduated college in 80, came down in 81, followed my parents with American Airlines, opened the Big Apple Cafe in 1992. We've been open for 30 years, been blessed with many, many, many great people, great staff, enjoyable environment, and continuous success. So we're very fortunate what we're doing.
Okay, and how long has this business been here?
We've been here 30 years.
30 years?
We've been here 30 years, and I also have another place called NYPD Deli over in Euless, and they've been there 26 years.
Okay, what do you serve there?
It's NYPD, New York Pizza and Deli.
Okay.
And it's pizza and deli sandwiches. We've been there for 26 years there. It's been pretty awesome there.
So did you have were you in like the NYPD, or did you have?
No, I just
It was just an idea of the name.
coming from New York,
Okay.
My original partner, Rocco Sofio, him and I were sitting down with my brother Tom, and we came up with the Big Apple Cafe. And then one thing led to another, and then I had another partner called Randy Martin, and we came up with the NYPD Deli.
Okay.
And been very fortunate, and we are pro blue. We back the blue. We back the vets.
Yeah, I have a lot of cops from North Carolina come on the show, and they have some really good stories. I love the cop stories. This is the reason why I started doing podcasts, because I just love the stories.
And
cop
they can
stories
tell
are the
many
best.
stories. Yes, yeah.
They are.
And you know what? We're blessed to have them taking care of us.
Yeah.
Along with the veterans that took care of us and got us where we are today.
Yeah.
So, here we are at Vetfest, and next week we have Veterans Day. So all I can really say to people is just, support not only the vets, the blue, but, respect one another. That's the one thing this country is lacking right now is respect.
Yes, that is definitely true. I had a lot of it was like Eric Tansey from Failure Stop Podcast. They have humanitarian the badge, basically getting people. Everybody's idea of cops is always bad, only because most of the time you're getting pulled over or anything. I've had BC Sanders, who's from North Carolina. He's a lieutenant there, and he was telling a story on the cast that of how at one point in time he had to sit for like an hour with a person that the pond that they're fishing out of, it has a suction to it.
Oh wow.
And the two kids ended up dying, and the guy that he was consulting and everything didn't speak English that much, but he was there.
He was
there.
Yeah, yeah.
And
people don't look at the other end of the police department and what they do, and
yeah,
they do a lot more good than bad, and there are some bad apples in everything we do.
There's some bad apples in every company you can go into.
You name it.
I've tried to tell that because I worked corrections. I worked corrections down in Wichita Falls, and every day was a different day when I was working there, only because you don't know who you're working with.
Right.
But I didn't have a problem with a lot of people, but a lot of people just don't see that.
Right.
They only see like whatever is being posted on the media.
Well,
or
the
going out.
media is negative. The media doesn't. You're not going to get sales promoting positive.
I think
Right.
what you're going for is if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead.
Yeah, and the media is extremely negative and disoriented about how good America really is and how good the people in America are. We do many, many, many charitable events here.
Yeah.
And Christmas time, we have a Christmas with the kids. We're doing this year. We have 18 special needs adults that we're giving Christmas to.
Okay.
So that's something we do here at Christmas time, and that all my customers, all my staff, they've been doing this. We've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah.
So not only does Vetfest, other veteran stuff that we do, Christmas, special needs. I just reach out to people and say, do good for one another.
Yeah, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't really understand or get, because the biggest thing that I try to tell people is like, to really help a person, it's the simplest thing. Say hi to them, wave at them, give them a smile. And like, how is that going to help? They could have a bad day, and the only thing they have going for them is that smile and that wave and that how you doing.
Well, when you come into a restaurant, one thing I tell my employees is that there's two things that they'll remember. They'll always remember if there's a negative, aspect in their stay, to a certain extent. But they'll always remember when you say hello and goodbye.
Yes.
And if you say goodbye, and I have people yell across the way, "Hey, have a good day." All right. You just say have a good day. We're blessed. All right. And you got a salutation and greetings and salutations.
Strange thing you say that, because because when I was in the Air Force, I ended up going in and going overseas to different places. The one thing I tried my best to do was learn how to say hello and thank you in that place's language. I mean, it's tough, but it's something simple.
Goes back to what we said a little bit earlier. That beautiful woman that wrote that song, R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
and she was a class act, and respect. Again, that's all we ask.
Yep.
I respect your opinion, you respect mine, and we live another day.
Yeah.
But
A lot of people don't get that, but thank you for coming on.
I just want to thank you for having me on. I
No
want to
problem.
say, the Big Apple Cafe, NYPD Deli, God bless Vetfest, God bless America, and God bless you guys.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All I love.